Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Breeden. Thank you for joining me for Constellation Tour number 61. Tonight we're going to venture further south than we've been so far on these tours to get a good view of the constellation that we're going to review tonight. We're viewing from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and the constellation we're going to go over is Triangulum Australis, or the Southern Triangle. The Southern Triangle is in the southern celestial hemisphere, and it's best viewed between June and August. So I have Stellarium set up for July the 24th at 11:30 p.m. with a 60-degree true field of view to simulate the naked eye sky from a somewhat light polluted suburban location. Triangulum Australis is also known as the Southern Triangle. So let's spend a little bit of time getting familiar with the sky from Buenos Aires, Argentina. We're looking due south. So what you want to look for when you're this far south, your guidepost stars, and that would be the Southern Cross right here, and these two really bright stars, Alpha and Beta Centaurus. So these will serve as a signpost to find a lot of other faint constellations, including Triangulum Australis. So let's turn on our constellation lines and get a little bit familiar with the southern sky. So here's the Southern Cross here, Crux, and here's Alpha and Beta Centaurus right here. And you can see Triangulum Australe is right here. So let's turn our attention to a more familiar sky for us northerners, and let's look north. And you will see that looking north from a location below the equator, we don't have the dippers in the sky. They are below the horizon. So we have the far northern constellation Lyra here in the north, pretty low. We have Hercules, we have Cygnus, and if you look up higher in the northern sky, you'll see a few familiar constellations, although they appear inverted from the southern hemisphere. We have Aquila the Eagle and Ophiuchus the Serpent Bearer here. So let's turn our view back to the southern sky. And let's focus on Triangulum Australe. Now the best way to find it is simply to look for Alpha and Beta Centaurus, which are right here, and the triangle is just to the upper left of those two stars. You just look for these three medium bright stars here, and that forms the triangle. Also over here, this area of the sky here, this is Pavo right here. It's actually up a little higher. And this star right here, this somewhat brighter star, is Alpha Pavo or Peacock. And then we have a small faint constellation here between Triangulum Australis and Alpha and Beta Centauri, and that's Circinus, is kind of wedged right in here. Okay, there are no notable double stars in Triangulum Australis. There are no Messier objects. So let's go ahead and venture to a dark site. And you can see here we're still looking south, actually a little bit south-southwest. And you can see the Southern Cross right here within the realm of the Milky Way. And you can see Alpha and Beta Centauri here, and the triangle is here. Triangulum Australis is right here. So let's have a look at the mythical figures. And you can see here Centaurus with Alpha and Beta here. You've got the small constellation Circinus right here between the triangle and Centaurus. So here's the triangle here. Actually, the triangle is easier to see than I expected. The three stars that make up the triangle are actually pretty bright. And just over here to the left of Triangulum Australe, you have Pavo the peacock with the star Peacock or Alpha Pavo as the eye of the bird. So those are your mythical figures. And from a dark side, this is a really great view. You can actually see the Magellanic Clouds right here. And we have a really bright star here, Acronar. That's Alpha Eridani. That's at the end of the river, if you remember from a previous tour. And the river is actually running upside down from our point of view here. So this is Eridanus here with Acronar at the end of it. And if you follow the river past the horizon here, you would eventually come to an inverted Orion. And again, here are the two Magellanic Clouds here, the Southern Cross here, Alpha and Beta Centauri here, and the triangle is here. So let's have a look at the constellation boundaries. And it's interesting to see the boundaries from this far south. You can actually see the south celestial pole right here in the constellation Octans. And Triangulum Australe is this constellation right here within this red boundary. So it's a pretty small constellation. Here's Pavo over here. We actually went over Norma in a previous tour. I don't think we've gone over Era yet. A lot of good stuff down here, a lot of unfamiliar constellations for us northerners. So, there is one notable open cluster within Triangulum Australe, and that is NGC 6025. Let's look through the finder. It's about a 6-degree true field of view. This is also a Caldwell object, Caldwell 95 or Colander 296. This open cluster is 2,500 light years from Earth and shines at 5th magnitude. So this would be a good one for a nice wide angle eyepiece. So we're gonna go ahead and put in a 24 millimeter panoptic. So we have to travel pretty far south to get a view of NGC 6025. So I have no other notable deep sky objects to review in Triangulum Australis, so this concludes my tour. Good night and good seeing.